Sword of the Demon Hunter episode 18 is now out. Let's talk about it.
Kijin Gentōshō.
So Sword of the Demon Hunter episode 18 is now out and available for you guys to go and watch right now. Now, I did miss episode 17, so I'm going to do a quick summary of episode 17 and what I felt and how much I enjoyed it. Episode 17, absolutely loved. I love the dynamic between Jinta and the samurai guy from that one person's clan. I love the dynamic and how that fight happened and how Jinta technically lost that fight, but then they came together in the future. And I really liked how that all came about and just the themes, the character, the conversations, I thought were absolutely fantastic. So episode 17 was a fantastic episode. Now we move into episode 18. And I will say episode 18 to me is not the best episode of the series. I don't think it's anywhere near that conversation. I think this is one of the mid-tier episodes throughout the series. I mean, that's saying something though, because I think all the episodes are fantastic. I think this is just a phenomenal anime right now. But this episode, we have our man come back. So it opens up with Mr. Medium coming back. He has now knocked on Jinta's door, and he's like, hey, you want some tea, bro? He walks in, and this is where he notices Jinta's child. Now, we are not having Jinta's child as a baby anymore. She is now a toddler going into a young child. She is in that nature now. So she's probably about like the five-year-old. That's what it looked like. And I love the comment where he's like, so you went from demon hunter to kidnapper now? And then this is where, you know, he finds out that actually, since he's been gone, and now that he's back, Jinta has now got a daughter. And I think this episode really shows you the softer side of Jinta. I think that's what this episode is. It's showing you the way that he's grown as a character and how this person that he is now caring for, this daughter that he has, and how it's affecting him. Because as you get towards the end of this episode, that conversation he has in the soba shop with the old man who runs it, who I will say is looking like he is getting on in age now. He looks like he might kick the bucket any moment. And I mean, I'm going to feel that when he does, because I love that character. I love him and his daughter's dynamic with Jinta and how they are almost like a grandparent in a way to this child, and also like parents to Jinta. And I really, really love that dynamic and how he's taken them under his wing. But that conversation, how Jinta's talking about, like, you know, he's seeing them two, and he's like, oh yeah, she's been on a mean streak lately and that. And he's like, is she going to treat me like that? And it's like, dude, you don't have to worry about that yet. But you can see Jinta really cares for this young child as if it's his own. And throughout this episode, you're watching that softer side of him come out, because this episode is all about him and the medium guy going on a tea journey. How to learn to basically, you know, go into the tea parties and be civilized. That's really what it is. Now, there is things where there is a deeper meaning in this episode. Obviously, there's a little box that is brought along that we find out about, like the patterns. The flowers are like this sort of flower that it is in the soil that can change its colors depending on seasons, I think it was. So there is that, and that plays a part towards the end with the ghost stuff, because the medium comes and he's like, I got a ghost thing that I need to deal with, I got some demon stuff I want to talk to you about, but I also want to, you know, do some tea stuff with you, you know, drink some tea and, you know, hang out and stuff like that. And we get some flashbacks as well. We get some flashbacks to Jinta's life, and we see some of the turning points that could be crucial to why his sister turned. And I think this is also the moment of Jinta having that regret again of like, maybe I could have stopped this. Maybe I could have stopped my sister from becoming a demon. Maybe that could have happened. Because in one of the flashbacks, we see them jumping off rocks and that, and there's this another girl that is friends with his sister, and they're jumping off and having fun. But then the next flashback is when they're older, and obviously Jinta's sister doesn't age quite like everyone else, so she no longer hangs out with her, and she's out there, you know, having a conversation, and then the sister comes out because she's like, oh, that's my friend. But then you see like how lonely she truly is. And it's just giving more context to how she was able to be manipulated at the very first episode and why she actually turned to a demon. So I'm loving how they're exploring that. And it also makes you feel like this is something that Jinya noticed. And Jinya is sitting there like, I could have, this is a sign where I could have changed the course of history. But nevertheless, he didn't do that. But I think that is just what it is. And I really liked it. I liked the stuff in the shop as well. When they're talking about the plates and stuff. I thought that was great. And then we get the moment where the medium guy says to Jinya, yeah, dude, the demons are popping up left, right, and freaking center, man. They are jumping up everywhere. There's some sort of like kingpin demon. And Jinya's like, okay, does anyone know what they look like? And he's like, no, no one knows. And this is where we get the flashback to his sister again in her demon form. So, is she the one that's pulling all the strings here with the demons? Most likely. I feel like that's where we're going. But then you have the moment of the ghost stuff where he's like, Junior's like, okay, what about the ghost stuff? You haven't told me about it. He's like, well, I've already settled it. And he pulls out that box. And this is where he talks about how he befriended the ghost. He took this journey for the ghost as well as him to, so that they could experience one last time before they vanish and go into the white light or whatever you believe in. So I really, really liked it. I really like the dynamic. I really like the conversations. I think the dialogue in this series is its strongest point. And it's all about the themes and the characters themselves. And like I always say, this doesn't rely on that heavy action. Now, I know some people are like, this is boring and stuff like that. Maybe you just like action anime. And if you do, that is completely fine. No one is saying that's wrong. I love a good action anime. Trust me, I love a good action anime. But sometimes it's really refreshing to have an anime that doesn't rely on the action. That is just all about two characters getting together, having tea and having a conversation and being in each other's presence and growing. That can sometimes be even more thrilling than an action sequence. And for me personally, that is what I love about this anime. It never strays away from the core element of this show, which is its themes, characters, narrative, dialogue. That is what it is at its core. It is not supposed to be an action anime. It's a dramatic anime. It's a drama. It's about the characters growing from the start to the finish, learning, experiencing life, and understanding how everything comes together so that they can grow as a person. And I love that element. And I am also really loving the aspect of going between the time periods right now, because I think that's just adding a lot. Look, does it give away some plot points? Yes, it does. It obviously means Junior's going to survive a battle that's going to happen. We know he's going to survive because he's later on in the, time period. He is in the modern age. So we do know that. But I still think that is fine because it's adding to the character. Because like I said, this doesn't rely on action. But I like this episode. Let me know what you guys thought of this episode. Did you guys enjoy it? Did you not? Smash it down in the comment section below. Smash that like button for me. Click subscribe. I'll see you guys next video. Until then, stay safe and peace out.